Oh, hey, everybody. We're going to try to do this a little bit better than the other day. Actually, you know what? Let's just make this full screen and call that a day. We are going to watch a video from Old Squishy Gardener. It is labeled Obnoxious Sovereign Citizen, Come to Court and Judge Ain't Having It. I've watched a very, very, very small portion of this video so that I could have some genuine reactions with you guys who have not seen it yet. 31 people here already. Dear God. All right. Let me bring this up and we'll get into it. We are going to watch this video. And after the video, we're all going to go our separate ways. I'm currently working on like an hour-long Sovereign Citizen video, which is why I'm live streaming more often than not, because hour-long videos take a long, long time to make. Let me bring this up real quick. Oh, no, that's that one. We don't need that. Obnoxious and Sovereign Citizen is redundant. Factual. I hope Long Island Audit doesn't have a good time with his appeal, because he deserves it. All right, let me know if you guys can hear this when I start it.
Miss Rogers, stop.
They already told me you're going to yell at me and stuff like that. I already know the truth.
Miss Rogers, please, will you let somebody, can you not talk so somebody else can talk? Miss Rogers is here pro se.
I'm here by special appearance. I'm not the all caps entity.
I don't know what that means, ma'am, but you've been personally served in this case and you've made multiple appearances in court.
And I made multiple special appearances at this court. And I've also asked you for your bonds and oath of office, and I've never gotten it from you.
Ma'am, ma'am, please stop.
Are you a judge? Are you a judge? Are you the judge?
Miss Rogers, I'm going to go ahead and mute you now so I can finish just making the appearances. Thank you. Mr. Griner's here for Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, why can't I do them in a single take? If we're going to be honest, because if you guys could see my blooper reel from every single video, I probably go through out of the, 7 to 10 takes that I put in, there's probably 150 takes that I completely mess up pronunciations. I say a word. I randomly say something dumb that I don't want in the video. So I try not to do single take ones because I, at this point, mess up a ton.
And Mr. Johnson is in prison in Missouri?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Juan, are you here for Ms. Duchesne?
I am.
Ms. Smith with CASA and caregivers, correct? Ms. Malero, these are the state's motions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Thank you. And before we proceed, I know it's not a permanency hearing, but would you be able to advise Ms. Rogers of her right to have counsel appointed?
She is aware, but I will, she's fired her court-appointed counsel. Ms. Rogers, correct? I can't hear you, ma'am. I had to mute you just so I could finish making the appearances.
Yes, I did fire her. And you muted me because I asked you for your bonds and oath of office.
No, Ms. Rogers, I muted you because you were continuing to interrupt while I was just trying to make the appearances. At this time, you are entitled to an attorney. You are indigent. The court has already found you indigent. Would you like to have another attorney appointed to you?
Is she going to have a bonds and oath of office? Because if she's not going to have a bonds and oath of office, I don't want her.
Okay,
you need to have one too. You shouldn't
Ms. Rogers,
this case if you don't have one.
Ms. Rogers, stop.
They already told me you're going to yell at me and stuff like that. I already know the truth.
Ms. Rogers, please, will you let somebody, can you not talk so somebody else can talk?
Okay. So I think it's funny that sovereign citizen gurus aren't actually, before they would teach them pseudo law and, give them nonsensical legal advice. But it seems like now they're saying, hey, if they don't do this one thing, refuse to go on. And then tell them, oh, they're going to yell at you if you do this because you're doing the wrong fucking thing.
Okay, I don't know what kind of bond you're looking for the attorney to have. I don't know if you're talking about
the one that you're supposed to have before you become a judge, the one that you're supposed to have when you graduate, the one that you're supposed to have when you have your initial and your signature on it. And if you don't have it on you, you're supposed to recite it to me.
Okay, I'm not
Otherwise,
sure
this case is fraud. It's fraud, and I will be sending an affidavit to show you that everything that you guys, I've been trying to tell you guys, been lying about. You have defamated my image. You got my son's grandmother thinking that I burnt him to death. And you guys never stepped in to try to correct the story or nothing like that. But that's okay, because everything that I've been trying to tell you guys, I've been telling you from the get-go that you guys don't know us. You don't know what type of people we are. I love my son. I'm doing everything that I can to keep him out of the crosshairs of this corrupt government system. these courts. You guys know you don't care about my son like that. It's all about money for y'all.
Would you like an
what,
attorney to be appointed to you?
is she going to have a bonds and oath to office because you guys are operating fraudulently?
Would you like me to answer the question, or do you want to keep yelling at me?
I want you to answer my question. I'm not
Okay,
yelling
then
at you,
thank you.
ma'am.
Please
I
be
know what
quiet.
yelling
So,
is.
Ms. Rogers, please be quiet so I can answer your question.
Okay.
If by bond you're referring to a law degree, everybody who works in the court as a lawyer has a law degree and has passed the bar and has a license through the State Bar of Texas.
That is
Other
not,
than that,
no.
they are all sworn officers of the court. Other than that, I do not know what bond you are referring to. Would you like me to appoint you an attorney?
I am referring to a bond and oath of office. Means that you are a British crown, which means that you have no business practicing law over here. You sold your bonds and oath of office to England. Okay? So this whole entire court case is fraud. The Chevron case is against it. I've been telling
Ms. Rogers, I'm going to go ahead and mute you so I can answer that question. I would strongly advise that you have an attorney work with you in this case to help you navigate the legal system. None of the attorneys are going to have the bond that you are looking for. I do not think. They will all have a law license. They are all sworn officers of the court. They have all passed the bar exam for the state. Okay, and none of them work for England. None of them are licensed to practice law there. They're only licensed to practice law in the state of Texas. But I cannot force you to have an attorney. I think it would be a very, very good idea. Ms. Malero, please go on with your next motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call the caregivers to testify briefly.
Hello. Yes.
One caregiver at a time. Okay? Only one witness at a time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Dillard, could you state your name for the record?
Ashley Dillard.
And you're Prince's current caregiver, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
During the course of this case, have you been present for phone calls between the child and Miss Rogers, the mother?
Yes, ma'am.
What is Miss Rogers's behavior like during these phone calls?
It be a lot of, the communication is just bad, and it be a lot of loud talking, cursing. It just be like a lot. So we never like get nowhere. We have to end the visits most of the times. Sometimes they be okay. Most of the times they're not.
When you say that there's loud talking, has that been directed towards you or towards the child?
Sometimes towards me, and then son and mother, they kind of go back and forth.
Have the phone calls, has Miss Rogers ever made any inappropriate comments on the phone calls?
Sometimes.
Okay. What are some of the comments she has made?
Towards me or towards my nephew?
Towards your nephew.
Yeah, so let me say something real quick, and then I got to run out of the office. I always say they get charged with whatever they get charged with, and more than likely no ID. And then they Google, how do I get away with this? And then sovereign citizen bullshit pops up. It seems like more times than not, this is the second family court case I've covered with a sovereign citizen in as many weeks. So it seems like now that's starting to leak into, I got my child taken away. I have to pay child support. How do I get out of this? And now sovereign citizen bullshit is leaking into family court, which I find astonishing.
Cursing him sometimes. She'll say that she's going to come get him. They yell at each other. He gets upset. He walks away or crying. He'll like shove me my phone. He'll be like sometimes upset after the phone calls.
Okay. So after the phone calls, your nephew's been upset?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes. How frequently would you say that happens?
So I would say when my nephew first got down here or whatever, the first couple weeks he was down here, like everything was okay. And then like as weeks and time go on, it then got like dysfunctional and just everywhere. So when the first couple weeks when he was down here, everything was cool. We had an understanding. Communication videos was okay. After that, it then kind of went downhill. I would try. My job is to try to still bring his mom and him together and make sure they have visits, video, and seeing each other and stuff like that. And to still try to make sure they have like some type of relationship, because I still do want my nephews to know his mom and stuff like that. As time goes on, like the conversations kind of went left, and I was confused on why, and she probably was confused too. But it just be like going left and like talking about like the house fire and what happened. He'll have a different story from her. He gets upset about it, and I'll be like, "Yeah, we need to change the conversation because it brings him like trauma." I do not believe that Kanisha feels like he is still traumatized towards that. in his sessions and stuff, he has told me that he is, and it just, yeah, it went down. So it becomes times where I'll be like, Prince, do you want to talk to your mom? He'll be like, no, or whatever. So I do not force him to talk. Like, he's 8 years old. If he feel like he don't want to do something, I just still respect what he say. And then there will be times where I'll be like, okay, it's that time of the week, Prince, do you want to have a conversation? Then he'll say yes. And then once they have a conversation, I guess it don't get nowhere. So I would have to like end the phone call.
When
So, again, the caregivers never thought, I believe it's this kid's aunt or whatever. At no point did she think, I'm going to have to raise this other person's child. And she said, I'm doing my best. And because I'm very, I don't know, close to a situation where somebody's raising someone else's kid and they never thought they would be doing that, yeah, I kind of feel for her because she didn't think she'd be doing that. And the other person refuses to take responsibility for the shit that they've done. And again, now they're trying to use sovereign citizen bullshit on the caregiver of the child and the child. And it's like, that's not how this works.
when is the last time you did have to end a phone call between Miss Rogers and her son?
I want to say it probably was like, what, Mom, like 2 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know the exact. I know it's been over like 2 weeks, so probably about 2 weeks.
How frequently does Miss Rogers speak with your nephew over the phone?
It was a couple times a week, but with everything going on, I didn't put it to like 1 day a week. Mainly, I'd be want to do it like on Saturdays because on school days he'd be really tired after school and aftercare and stuff like that.
Do you believe at this time that the phone calls between Miss Rogers and her, the child are beneficial to him?
No, I know what it is because at the time, maybe not, but I do still want them to at least be able to video or see each other. Like I really tried to work with my brother and his mother, but it can get difficult. So at the time, probably not, but I do want to try to mend these people relationship. That's kind of, it's a simple question to answer, but like, it's like a hard question too. It's just like, that's still his mom. That's still his dad. You know, I'm the auntie, I love him dearly. And that's why I stepped up. So at the time, no, but I do want them to be able to have some type of visits.
Yeah, so this is another good example of why there should not be any more Zoom calls. That's the problem because I feel like it's yes and no. And if you watch this enough, not 9 times out of 10 isn't enough. Maybe 999 times out of 1,000, Zoom court is perfect for normal shit. If you watch a random Judge Slavin court docket for a day, it's in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, oh, you're here for a speeding ticket. Guilty, not guilty. Guilty, okay, cool. Pay the fine. Have a good day. And it saves people time and energy coming to court, burning a day of work. But then you have people like this, and I don't want to say it's always sovereign citizens, but it seems to be always people like sovereign citizens, Moors, frauditors even, where they completely ruin it for everyone else. It makes sense for everybody else, but then sovereign citizens like this, she wouldn't be playing this game in court because she'd be held in contempt in the first 2 seconds. But the guy who, the 12 people before a random court case that were there for speeding, a stop sign, broken taillight, done in 2 minutes. And then she fucked it up.
But it has to be peaceful, like with all this drama, yelling, not understanding and stuff like that. Like, I just want us to be able to have an understanding. I want them to be able to have good communication.
Exactly.
Like, hey, son, how you doing? What you been doing up there? Like, how's school? Like, positivity for his way, because he's already been through a lot. So if it's positive and I get along, I love that. I respect it. If it's all this yelling and I don't want to go back down there and I don't want to be down there and he says like a lot and I want to say my auntie, and I think from Kanisha's point of view, like, she still is his mom and that does hurt her feelings, but he tells her that he don't want to ever come back down there. And for me, I'm like, I love you enough, you can stay here, but that, I think that upsets. She tells him you have to, he says he don't, and then it's me, and I'm just like, yeah, it gets overwhelming.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think it would be beneficial if Miss Rogers had family therapy with her son?
I think family therapy will help them. Yes.
Okay. Ms. Rogers, do you have any specific questions for your son's aunt? Questions, not tirades.
I would like to ask her, would she please be more active in being a witness as to what is going on in the case? Like, for example, last time when we were on the phone for court, I asked them to get off the phone, her and her mother get off the phone. Jacqueline said, I mean, not Jacqueline, but Jamila said that she had no records of me taking a drug test. And Jacqueline has records of that. She also told Ashley.
But ask
Ashley
a
said that
question
she
to
could have told her that. She said she could have told her about the drug test and that she has proof of it. But
Ms. Rogers.
And now instead of asking the witness questions, she's testifying, which is kind of what Eric Martin tried to do in the last long-ass jury trial.
Do you have a question to ask? Do you have a question to ask the caregiver?
I asked her the question, would she be more active in being a witness to the dysfunction of the case?
Okay, that's a question.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when you say...
And I had to give an example as to why I asked that.
Active, like, what do you mean being more active? Because
like when you see little dysfunctional stuff, like when you see little unprofessional things like that, like when you see the things that
communicate with you.
Are you gonna let me talk?
Are you gonna let me talk? She's trying to understand you and then answer your question, okay?
But I was still talking.
So quickly ask it then. Whenever you see little unprofessional things happening, will you please be a witness to that? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, will you please be a witness to that? I've been asking her this forever.
Okay,
please be a witness to that. And will you please tell them that you have records of Jacqueline telling you about the drug test that they said that I never took? Can you please tell them that?
Okay, so to answer your question, Kanisha, has Kanisha ever took a drug test? Yes, she has took a drug test. Kanisha, you know that it took you like 2 or 3 times to even do it, but you have took it. So that is correct. And if you feel like I'm not communicating more, I would do my best. I would do my best to try to communicate with you more. I've been telling you about his school. I've been telling you about the doctor's appointments. I've been telling you what's been going on and stuff like that. But yes, I will.
And can somebody in the courtroom please explain to her that it doesn't matter how many times you guys ask me. Once I agree to go, then the results should just stand after that. She thinks that you guys decide to get rid of the results because you asked me multiple times. That makes no sense. And I know you guys don't operate that way.
You don't need to really address it.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you this right now. That's the equivalent of saying I PBT'd like 15 people every single morning that I worked. That's like them saying, okay, cool. To get this charge dismissed, to stay in line with bond, yada, yada, you have to do X, Y, Z. That's like saying somebody that was supposed to come in and PBT every morning, they randomly decided to not show up for 5 days and then come and PBT. And then say, well, I came and PBT'd, so the last 5 days I missed shouldn't count. It's like, no, if you are told to take a drug test on a randomly specific day, if I tell you, hey, come take a drug test on the 12th, and I tell you on the 11th, and then you show up, the 30th, it might lead people to believe that you're trying to get the drugs out of your system, and that's why you didn't show up the first or the second time. So it's not just like, oh, I showed up at some point on my own time. Doesn't work.
There wasn't a question. I don't really understand, but the court, I don't know that the court has ordered any drug tests in the case since the beginning of the case. So
really? So were the other court cases were they recorded? Because you guys did ask me to go, and I got text messages to show that I went.
Okay, let me finish. You don't want anybody to interrupt you when you talk. Please don't interrupt me either. It is possible that the caseworkers have asked her to test outside of the court with regards to specific court orders. I think that there was a court-ordered drug test at the very start of the case, and we've only been back for a first permanency hearing. And I do not believe that Ms. Rogers appeared. Ms. Rogers, do you have another question about the visits? We're here today on a motion for visitation or to terminate
Also,
visitation.
another thing I would like to know, okay, so this whole thing is about you guys being worried about abuse going on, disrespect and stuff like that, my son being exposed to those type of things. Well, I just want to let you know that since he's been down there, I've been called bitches, whores, prostitutes, and I've been accused of burning my son on purpose. And that was by the grandmother. So
okay, Ms. Rogers,
there's still abuse going on. There's still verbal abuse going on. So why is it okay for his family to do it?
Okay, Ms. Rogers, I will give you one more opportunity to ask a question about the motion to terminate visits. Do you have any questions specifically related to that? That is what we are here for today. The state has a...
I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the military, you have to randomly drug test all the time. And if you're a second class or above, one of your jobs is just stare at dicks for like an entire day. Which I always made extremely awkward for everyone.
motion requesting the court to appoint you an attorney and a motion to terminate visits. Do you have a question about either of those two motions? If so, you may unmute and ask those questions, but we're not going to just get into arguments.
I'm not arguing about anything. I'm
You
just
really
saying
are.
that this is
You're
unfair.
arguing about everything.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Greiner, any questions?
No questions from Ms. Rogers. Just want to let you know that the father is on the speakerphone now, so he is listening in.
Ms. Wan, any questions?
Yes, briefly. Thank you, Your Honor. And you say that Prince gets upset after these phone conversations with his mother.
Yes, ma'am.
How long does he stay upset on the average after such a phone call?
15 minutes.
15
About
minutes?
15 minutes, yeah.
Does he act out in any way
Yes, ma'am.
following these conversations? I mean, how to
Sometimes he does, yes. Yes, sometimes he does, and it sometimes gets to the point where he'll be so upset or irritated that he just don't want to be bothered at the time, and he'll just be like, "Auntie, can you just leave me alone? Like, I don't want to talk or be bothered." Yeah, I respect it, and I just let him be until he calm down.
So when you approached him with the idea that he might have to come down here to have a visit with his mom, how did he react to that?
Yesterday, that actually was asked because his caseworker actually came down to my place yesterday, and he told her that he does not want to get on the plane to come down there, but he said that he does want his mom to get on the plane and come visit down here, but he does not want to go down there. Is what he said yesterday.
So it's your understanding he doesn't want to come here, but he'd visit her if she came there.
Correct.
I'd like to call Ms. Brumley briefly. Does the department believe that it's best to terminate the visits between Ms. Rogers and her son at this time?
The department do believe that it is in his best interest to terminate the way the visits have been set up between the aunt and the mother. We believe that it would be beneficial to Prince and his mom if a therapist was on the line with them with these visits.
So are you asking that any visitation be restricted to a family therapy or a therapeutic setting?
Yes,
At
ma'am.
this time?
Yes, ma'am. At this time,
With the option of visits resuming, should there be improvement in that area,
yes,
correct?
yes, with a therapist impression.
Any questions for Ms. Brumley, Ms. Rogers, about the visitation?
You last time you said something about visitations being physical visitations being once a month, and that I should pay for it out of my own pocket if I was to get on a plane. You also said that you wanted me to get a job, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, if I was to start working now or whatever, what job is going to let me take off every 30 days to see my kid?
Well, I cannot give you a job that will allow you to take off of your child. That's a job that you have to find on your own. However, right now, I do believe that the visits between you and Prince should be in a therapeutic setting. And regarding the visit that I talked about, because of everything that's going on, I don't think that it would be in Prince's best interest right now for you to even take a flight up there to see him with his aunt and his grandmother looking over these visits. I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah, I mean, because to be honest, like, this is like really like not my family. We're not blood relatives. These are relatives of an ex-boyfriend who I just so happen to have a baby with. So it's a whole bunch of drama that's.
This is the problem with society. It just happens to be the family of an ex-boyfriend that I happen to have a kid with. The fuck do you mean you just happen to have a kid with? And like, yeah, now I know why he's an ex. Because you're a fucking idiot. I would have left too.
Is tied to that. A whole bunch of drama that I didn't really realize that I didn't have to deal with when he was with a foster parent. And it's too difficult. It's very, they are bringing up the stories about the house fire. They are the ones that's telling me to get on the phone with Prince and talk to him about his behavior. But Prince doesn't even want to hear anything as far as authority about his behavior. He doesn't want to have anything addressed as far as his behavior. So yes, he does get irritated. He gets off the phone, but it has nothing to do with anything that I said. Like, for example, I tried to tell him that he can't get on Roblox because he's on punishment right now for watching porn, okay? Which he didn't get that from me. But the grandmother jumps in and calls me all kinds of bitches and whores and accuses me of talking to him crazy because I told him that I saw on the news that they got predators on there that lure children and asked them for their address. That was on the news.
Not a question here.
That's sustained.
Ed, the dad is actually, it seems like he's on the phone with Wayne Greiner at the top. He's on speakerphone. I don't think he's going to say anything. And yes, Roblox has been known to have predators. So has almost every single other game that has voice chat. So it seems like, again, she's just making excuses.
That's the same.
So
Can you ask a
it's
question,
like
please, Ms. Rogers?
I'm literally trying to figure out like what do you guys want me to do with my kid, because everything I have evidence that everything I'm doing is for his concern and for his greater good.
Okay,
You
so
got
Rogers,
me.
I
What
understand.
do you want me to
Ms.
do?
Rogers,
You got
ask
me.
the question, please. What do you want her to do? There we go. Thank you.
Well, I did go out and see Prince face to face yesterday, and we did talk about roadblocks and your safety concerns. It is safety concerns with roadblocks. And Miss Ashley do have an app where she is monitoring all of his access to the internet. I have the same concerns with roadblocks. So we
Can I
also
please add that the commercials that are
No,
given between
Ms.
these
Rogers,
apps?
let Ms. Brumley answer the question, please. She's in the middle of talking. Let her finish
Okay.
answering your question.
Well, like I was saying, Ms. Rogers, we did address the concerns that you have with roadblocks. Now, Ashley do have an app where she is able to see everything that Prince is doing on roadblocks, talking to people. We talked to him about talking to strangers. Of course, he said that those was not strangers; those was kids that he was communicating with out when he was in Galveston or wherever he was in foster care. But like I said, it's an app where Ashley is able to see everything that Prince is doing online. To keep
I don't want him on there at all. What's wrong with that?
It's
I don't want
nothing
him
wrong
on
with
there at all.
Miss Ashley, please take him off of Roblox for good. It's an app where she could just delete the app, delete Roblox.
Okay,
and
let's do this
keep him-
outside of the hearing.
Yeah.
Let's do this outside of the hearing. Anything else about visitations?
So how exactly are they going to go? Like, how is this thing with this therapy going to work? The therapist being involved. How is everything going to be set up?
It'll be set up maybe through Zoom, and the therapist will just be online with y'all while y'all communicating. And she will intervene if she have to. She'll be taking notes to see what can help the relationship between you and Prince.
Okay.
I have a question.
Miss Ashley, just wait just a
Is
moment.
this okay?
No, just wait a moment, please. Mr. Reiner, any questions for Miss Brumley?
Does the father have anything to say?
No questions for Ms. Brumley, Your Honor.
Oh, God, come on.
Any questions, Miss Wan?
Yes, I just have a few. Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Brumley, has mom engaged in any other services on her family service plan?
Mom have engaged in the drug test. She took a drug test May 2024. And it was a hair, no, it was not a hair, it was a UA, and it came back negative. And that's the only service.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Any additional witnesses, Miss Malero?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, Miss Rogers?
Any witnesses?
Yes, that you wanted to
Ashley.
call regarding the motion to terminate visits today.
My husband is a witness, but you guys don't want him to talk. So, I mean,
Okay, so yes or no? Just yes or no? Do you have any witnesses?
yeah, I do have one, but is he eligible?
This is like having your significant other provide your alibi. Like it's not exactly the best of witnesses. Are they just going to glance over the fact that the kid watches the old porn? Yeah, it is what it is. My kids play Roblox. I'm not concerned about anything happening on Roblox because I don't allow them to talk to random fucking people. That's my job. They go on Roblox. They play games. They don't have any voice chat to anyone. That is what they do. So I don't know why instead of deleting the game and pissing the child off further, they could just say, yeah, don't voice talk to anyone.
Is he going to have relevant
Everything.
information?
Yes, I mean, I use the business happens on his phone. I don't even have a phone. I use his phone for everything.
Okay, so then you would like to call him as a witness?
Yes.
Is he there?
Yes. You want to be a witness? All right.
I don't know how you're going to be able to hear the hearing now, Ms. Rogers. You're going to have to be able to hear the hearing so that you can hear so that you can hear. What is your name, sir? You're also Mr. Johnson, correct?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn.
I do not swear.
Okay, you may not testify today. Thank you. Any additional witnesses, Ms. Rogers?
How is that possible? I didn't swear today.
You have not been called as a witness, Ms. Rogers. You've been asking
The Bible
questions.
says don't swear. How do we use the Bible in court? But it says don't swear. Swear not.
You have the ability to affirm. Mr. Johnson can swear or affirm if you would let me finish speaking.
Affirm?
I can affirm.
He can affirm.
Great, thank you. If both of you would just not interrupt people and listen to what they say, then perhaps you would be able to hear the answer and everything could move along more smoothly.
There was nothing I needed to hear when you say swear. I know that it's forbidden in the Bible.
Sir, raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
That I do.
Thank you.
I'm not religious, like in any type of way. I was raised from the age of 0 to 18. I was in church every Sunday. I know a thing or two about a thing or two, but I'm not exactly the most religious person. I hate people who are fake religious. Sovereign citizens are fake religious.
Doesn't have to be so difficult. Please
I just
proceed,
don't want
Ms.
to
Rogers.
transgress against God.
Ms. Rogers, please ask your question as long as it is relevant to visitation.
So how do these visitations really go? Who is normally always asking the questions, or what is the real reason why Prince is irritated or wants to end the visits?
Ask one question at a time, please. How do these visits normally go?
Yes.
Oh,
That's you, Mr. Johnson.
I'm sorry. The way that the visits normally go is I noticed that Ashley tends to be more involved in the conversation than actually the child and the mother.
Ask the next question, Ms. Rogers.
And when Ashley is involved in the conversation, what type of topics do she bring up?
Miss
Answer.
Ashley brings up personal things of their past history, nothing that involves the child at all.
Next question.
Has Ashley ever included any inappropriate phone calls, like phone calls from county jails so the dad can talk to the mother?
Yes. She tried to call on three-way with the father on a three-way jail call.
At any time that Kanisha was disrespected by the family members, including Ashley, the mother, the sister, whoever, did she initiate the disrespect?
Ms. Rogers, let me stop you right here for a moment. None of these questions are relevant to whether or not your visits with Prince should be terminated. I mean, your son should be terminated. The question,
Okay.
the relevant question today is, should the court continue to allow you to have the phone calls with your son or not? The questions that you're asking, Mr. Johnson, need to be relevant to that issue. Do you understand? I don't care what Miss Ashley does with you and the father of your child. Not at least today in this hearing.
Okay.
Not today in this hearing. Today, I only am worried about visits.
From my testimony,
Sir, wait for the question, please. Ms. Rogers asked Mr. Johnson a question about whether or not your visits, it's appropriate for the court to stop your visits.
Do you think it's appropriate for the courts to stop my visits with my child?
No, I don't think that's appropriate. I think what needs to be done is there needs to be something that eliminates Ashley from the situation because she is in it for a personal reason and not just solely for the well-being of Prince.
Do you have any additional questions, Ms. Rogers?
Not as of now.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Malero, any questions? Wait, Mr. Johnson, everybody gets to ask you questions now.
Mr. Johnson, how many of the visits have you observed?
I can't hear you.
How many of the visits have you seen?
All of them.
And when a visit is going on, where are you in relation to Ms. Rogers?
Where am I as far as, what do you mean?
Like, are you engaging in the visit too, or are you elsewhere?
No.
Okay.
I do not engage in the visit at all.
Are you paying attention to the visit when you're there, or are you doing something else?
Well, yeah. No, I'm actually paying attention, but I will add this. You really don't have to pay attention because it ends up getting out of hand from Ashley's point, and I'm listening to Kanisha try to diffuse the situation and get it back on a regular accord or whatever, but Ashley continues to go with what she's on, which is something personal. It's not about kids. She sends pictures of herself.
Ms. Malero, ask the next question, please.
That's all the questions I have, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Greiner?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Wan?
No questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Why can't she switch the ear that the earbud's in? Because she's a sovereign citizen, which again, I think I said this earlier. She's a fucking idiot. That would make more sense, but I think she just enjoys smashing their heads together like that.
Okay, Ms. Rogers, any additional witnesses?
No.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smith, what is Child Advocate's recommendation?
Okay, I apologize. To stop visits until a therapist can recommend that they're appropriate because it is causing him to keep from causing emotional damage as far as his mental health well-being.
Here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to order that the caregiver can reach out and initiate visits as she thinks is appropriate. You're there, you see him, you hear what he wants, you understand his needs, and how those things affect him. In addition to that, in the event that the caregiver doesn't reach out to initiate the visits, then the visits shall take place with a therapist involved so that we're not going to take Ms. Rogers' visits away completely. That's not going to happen. But starting them in some type of family therapy type situation would be great. Ms. Rogers, where are y'all living right now? You don't have to give me a specific address.
I have my own place. I have an apartment.
Okay, is that where you're at now?
Yes, I've been living there ever since I moved in on Prince's birthday.
Okay. And can y'all tell me, does Mr. Johnson have any bond conditions where the child is concerned?
What do you mean? Does he have any bond conditions?
I'm asking the district attorney's office.
So I don't see any charges right now. I know they were planning to take charges. I we'll need to follow up on those to see where that is.
Ms. Rogers, I'm going to go ahead and appoint you an attorney. You can discuss with the attorney the things that you're looking for and decide whether or not he or she is able to meet those requirements. But I will go ahead and appoint you somebody, and then you can decide where you want to go from there. Okay. Ms. Rogers, are you engaging with Gulf Coast?
I took a break from them, but I am going to go back. I'm going to actually go back.
When do you plan on doing that?
I'll call them today to set up an appointment.
That sounds very good. I think that if you could do that, perhaps some interventions could be put in place that would allow you to better communicate with your attorney and all of us to better communicate together so that we can hopefully come to a good resolution at the end of this case. Okay?
Imagine being so annoyed with the mother of your child that you get yourself thrown in jail.
But something has to happen because every single time that we appear for court, you're very frustrated and angry, and it makes it very difficult for us to communicate. So if you could go to Gulf Coast, I think that would be better. I think that would be very, very helpful.
I'm pretty sure if anybody was in my shoes, they would be very frustrated. I've been
100%.
ignored this whole entire time.
I think that anybody who has a CPS case is very frustrated. So I hear what you're saying. It's the level of the communication that we need to. This is a court, and whether or not you agree with the court or with my position as a judge or the government in general, it's still appropriate for all of us as people to be respectful to one another. So with that, our next permanency hearing is on December the 12th. I've appointed Ms. Hatcher to represent at 10 a.m. Ms. Hatcher to, at this time, represent Ms. Rogers. Ms. Rogers, you can decide whether or not you want her to continue in that appointment after you meet with her, okay?
Okay.
All right, very good. I'll see y'all on December the 12th at 10 a.m. Thank you so much.
So I've been frustrated. But I've never been so frustrated. There we go. I've been frustrated, but I've never been so frustrated that I start throwing out sovereign citizen nonsense. I feel like that's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Because we see it time and time again, where sovereign citizens will try all this nonsense. They will try this nonsense, and it will have no effect on a positive outcome for them. Yet they just keep fucking clawing at it and clawing at it. I'm looking up one person right now to see if they have anything out. And if they have anything out, we might watch it. No. Just Jeremiah Payne crying about getting demonetized. Oh, God. So it seems as if Jeremiah Payne God, he's such an idiot. He is now creating logos to sell logos instead of just simply getting a job. And then at the end, he wants you to know that if you take his logos or infringe on his work, which was probably ChatGPT generated, the civil penalties are up to $30,000 and up to 5 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines per offense for willful infringement. I just don't understand this guy. He got demonetized, and then he cried the other day about, it's not because of my yes, they are legitimately. Is his daughter in school yet? Probably not. Congratulations on making a ChatGPT logo. A ChatGPT logo. A ChatGPT logo. Like, who? A, who is buying this bullshit? And B, why try to make threats about suing people for stealing them? Like, I don't. If Pickle becomes a soft sit, will you show her videos? Absolutely. If any of my children become sovereign citizens, I will make videos on them and shame them. Yeah, Java Man, it sounds like what happened to Georgia Transparency up to the point he found out he was using a stock image. Yeah, he literally made like 4 posts about his random fucking shit. Everyone go blow up Tennessee Tyrant Hunter. I want to get it bigger than this channel. Let me go check out what he's doing over at Tennessee Tyrant Hunter with 101 subscribers. Ah, posting the same videos from his main channel. Maybe that's why he got demonetized. Those locals are so unique. I can't see how anyone would come up with a similar idea. Did Travis Hines have court today? Well, shit. While we're here, might as well look up Travis Hines. Last I checked, he turned himself in. Another trial day in where is it? In whatever, Louisiana, 2 hours ago. Yeah, it looks like he had court. I don't think he's. Let me see. No, I don't think any of it's actually in court, or we would watch that. Jeremetha is about to get some cash on that Suboxone class action lawsuit. Hey. So if you guys are ever thinking about doing any of this like content type crap, don't cover Travis Hines because his subscribers are genuine nutbags. Seems that Suboxone messes with your teeth. DMA has reported to prison, and I believe he's already out of prison. Unclean won his, what's it called? Unclean Hands won his appeal, so he's monetized again. Lick the whole boot. Yeah. Okay. So if you guys want to, I know, love him, hate him, be like me and just not care, but Direct D and Lick the Whole Boot did a live stream on Direct D's backup channel. I think it's just called Christopher Ruff. And they had the Angry Vet on there. And with the Angry Vet, for some reason, comes a bunch of crazy people in the chat. Don't you have to complete your military time to be considered a vet? Hey, I think I talked about this the other day. Broken System, Broken Trust likes to pull the once a Marine, always a Marine, even though he did meth to get out. Brian, member for 9 months. November already? Yeah. Yeah. And it's looking more and more every day that I'm going to be moving in the middle of winter, which is annoying. But they did that live stream last night, covered the Angry Vet, had him up on panel. He talked out of his ass, made some threats to people as he always does. But then the who's who of losers started coming into the chat and just talking out of their ass. One of them was Broken System, Broken Trust. And he kept asking me the most ridiculous questions that I kind of had to laugh at. When's the last time you stood for anything, K-Far? And I had to break it to him that I stand against his domestic abuse and not caring for his children, and he kind of left me alone after that. Yo, KTZ, you literally caught like the last 5 minutes of my stream. But if you guys want to go watch that, it was on Lick the Whole Boot. Is it still up or did he take it down? It's on, I think it's called just Christopher Ruff. Reyes, are you getting my messages on Discord? He got kept an extra day by mistake. That's the thing. If I said where I was moving, people would show up to help, yes. But if I said where I was moving, I would get continued death threats. Random frauditors would show up. Frauditors who I've exposed would make, knowingly false CPS calls on me again. It's a balancing act over here. I was about to put my phone number in the chat for Reyes to text me, but Yeah, I sent you like a friend request thing on Discord. No, he was in the Navy with me. Reyes was in the Navy. Funny story, guys. One of my buddies called me, not Reyes, one of my buddies who's a cop in like one of the cities next to where I worked. He worked with me there and then got a job at a different department. He absolutely nobody else needs to know where you're moving. Yes, I'm moving closer to KTZ. That's all anyone needs to know. One of my buddies called me in the middle of the night. He says, "Hey, bro, guess what I'm doing right now?" And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, "I'm at the hospital guarding someone." And I'm like, yeah, that's like not the craziest thing. He goes, "I'm guarding a sovereign citizen," and he won't shut up. And then he started fighting, so he had to get off the phone. Have I ever heard of a cap and ball device used for a self-defense scenario? Negative. Yeah, that's me, a secret stoner surfer. Yeah, Chester, it was unclean one is appeal. So he's good now. I know a little bit about what happened to Dawn. Did you ask? Yes. I do know a little bit of what happened to Chris. I might talk about it tomorrow if I go live, but yeah. You hear Argentina was buzzing place circa 1945? Can I at least get your new city? How else can I swat you? Funny story. I actually talked to Mrs. Kfar about that. Calling my local PD and be like, "Hey, this is what I do. This is what's happened to me already. If I call, come with a quickness. And if someone calls trying to swap my house, just give me a heads up." So hopefully I can avoid any crazy shit in the future. All right, me. See you next time. Bruh, I just arrested a Sovsit recently. Dumbass didn't want to give his license at a license checking station. Long story short, he wanted to remain silent. I put him in cuffs, and all of a sudden he wanted to talk. That's like people who they want to act really hard when they get arrested. Really, they act tough, but while they're just sitting there, they're not doing anything. Then the moment you put them in a cell and lock the door, that's when they want to spit, fight, swear. They're trying to reach at you through the bars because they know that they can't actually get to you. It's like people in the NBA when they fake try to fight each other and they're letting their teammate like hold them back. See, Alan, I actually have an idea about that. If I ever start getting doxxed again, I'm going to be giving out my address as other people's addresses. Only frauditors and sovereign citizens, which I think would just be hilarious. But all right, I'm going to hop off here. There's 115 people listening to me rant, which is crazy. I do have, oh God, I don't know if I put it in this chat. I do have a new channel. And Reyes, if you're still here, you may be interested in this channel. So I have a new channel, and I'm starting it with my dumbass brother who was on the stream last night. I'm going to get the link, and then I'm going to drop it in the chat real quick before I get off here. If you guys like sports, go join it. If you don't like the sports ball, completely ignore it and pretend it's not a thing. Let's see here. All right, it is in chat. I just started it yesterday. We've got 33 subscribers already. There you go. Dropped it in the chat. Maybe it'll pop up. Maybe it won't pop up. No, it won't pop up because I'll make a post about it. Don't worry about it. Are we doing booze and body cams tomorrow? We can. Damn. All right. I'm going to get off here. Look for a post about that channel. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Reyes, stay safe. Everybody else have a good rest of your day. I'm going to wait a hot second, and then I'm going to turn off the stream so everybody can hear what I just said. So, bye.